This term, which is translated in English, is something like one's personally intuited gnosis. That's one way it's translated. Basically, it means the pristine consciousness that you know for yourself individually, one by one. That means you have to discover it yourself. So, once you've discovered that state, what do? You rest in the 4 choke chokes, and that becomes your main practice. Once you have discovered your state, then you rest in the 4 choke chokes. The 4 choke chokes are the Riwo choke chok, Gyatso choke chok, Rikpa choke chok, and Nangwa choke chok. So you can read about these in some detail here, but I'm not going to go into this kind of explanation very much because this explanation is very intellectual and it makes it seem like the 4 choke chokes are practiced like as a view, a meditation, a conduct, and a result sequentially one by one. We already know from earlier today when we were talking about the Rikpa Kyujuk, the cuckoo of Rikpa, that we never practice, in Dzogchen, we never practice first a view, then a meditation, then a conduct, then a result. In Dzogchen, view, meditation, and conduct are always inside of discovery of our primordial state. There's nothing to discover other than Rikpa. There's no conduct to perform other than Rikpa. There's no meditation other than Rikpa. There's no view other than Rikpa. So view, meditation, conduct, and result are just in this one point of Rikpa, being in that state of instant presence. So therefore, once we've discovered that state of instant presence, for as long as we are in that knowledge of our own state, what is the method of equipoise? Okay, putting books aside. When I first met my teacher, Chogyal Namkhai Norbu, I was quite confused about Tekchot. I didn't understand it at all because this is in 1992, it's August, and he's talking about these 4 choke chokes because he's giving his explanation of his kind of Lam Rim book. It's sort of a Lam Rim book, but not really, called The Precious Vase. And so he was talking about the 4 choke chokes, and then I didn't really understand what he meant. Also, really, I didn't understand what he meant about Rikpa either, but anyway, I pretended I did because, I wanted to impress my teacher. What I'm telling you is that I had gone to my teacher and luckily I was able to secure a private interview with him. And I said, Rinpoche, I don't really understand what is this choke chok you're talking about, these 4 choke choks. Can you please explain it to me so I can understand it? He's very nice, actually. So he said, this is how you understand the 4 choke chokes. He said, once you've discovered your primordial state, he says, once you discover your real nature, then what do? What you do is you apply these 4 methods of contemplation.